Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to make my maiden speech in this building safety debate. And I would like to congratulate the members for Bromley, Calder Valley, Guildford and Burnley for the love that they've shown for their constituency. But I do note that my first contribution to this House was in the Prime Minister's statement on Grenfell last week. And we must not forget that in this debate, that tragedy was also a fault of failing building safety and government accountability. Having worked in the construction industry as an architect in Spain and having run an architectural practice in the UK most of my professional life, I have seen far too often the construction industry fall foul of silo working and cost cutting. Value engineering, we call it in the trade, but don't be fooled. It adds no value and is very rarely engineered. Many families in my constituency, and indeed across the UK, are bearing the effects of poor building safety in various areas. Homes are suffering from mould and damp, as mentioned by my previous colleague, and with complaints to housing associations, letting agencies and landlords often falling on deaf ears. I would like to urge the Department for Housing, Communities and Local Government in their proposed reviews of the building regulations to introduce stronger measures to protect the most vulnerable residents from mould and damp. Everyone deserves a safe and comfortable home to return to. However, I do not want members to leave today's debate thinking that the only notable point of the beautiful constituency of Chippenham is that it is damp. Although there is no doubt that the West Country is beautifully green for a good reason. Chippenham sits in Wiltshire in the southwest of England, and we have a proud industrial heritage too, with mills originally reliant on the River Avon and later on the Great Western Railway, with many impressive tunnels and viaducts. This railway currently only stops in Chippenham, and I will spend the next few years demanding that Corsham and Royal Wootton Bassett are also in receipt of stations. Quality employment and prosperity came with the railway when it was built, and access to transport is equally important to the growth of this area today. It will play a vital part in my constituency's future as an innovation hub. We are currently home to some fantastic cutting-edge businesses from renewable energy sector through to the health sciences. They are complemented by the provision of excellent technical education, namely that provided by the Wiltshire College and University Centre, whose campuses in Lackham and Chippenham will be critical to the growth of dynamic young companies in the future. And I intend to be a strong voice to champion the skills, employment and opportunity in this part of the world. My father, who unfortunately died very young, instilled in me a passion for technology and innovation. But he also left me with a very special interest in vintage cars and all things mechanical. So I am now incredibly lucky to be married to David, who is the man who built the very first electric Austin 7 some 30 years ago. Slow old cars are a perfect way to drive through a constituency that hosts some of the most beautiful towns and villages in the country, contrary to the views of some of my colleagues earlier today. Many of them will be familiar to you. The town of Corsham is home to free-ranging peacocks and can be recognised, surprisingly, in Poldark. The town of Cairn, rightly called the town of discovery, was the home to Joseph Priestley, who discovered oxygen. And Laycock, with its picturesque abbey, was home to William Fox Talbot, the inventor of the photographic negative, and appears in more films than I have time to mention today. And Royal Wootton Bassett, with its proud connection to RAF Lynham, was granted royal status because of the community's important role in the repatriation of those killed in the service of this country. The recent boundary changes mean that I have inherited the honour of representing these communities from both Michelle Donnellan and from James Gray. James will be known to this House for his chairmanship of the Armed Forces Parliamentary Scheme, which has done wonders to ensure that we gain an insight into the lives of those who have committed to serving in our military. Michelle Donnellan, meanwhile, has been a strong advocate for our town centre in Chippenham, and her work in that area will not be forgotten. Before Michelle and James, Chippenham was represented by my Liberal Democrat friend and colleague Duncan Hames, and I would like to thank Duncan for his advice and support in what has been a hectic start to the Commons. Over the past weeks, many people have asked me if I have had a restful recess. I have found myself raising an eyebrow and explaining that this has been the busiest period of my life. Not being on these benches over the summer has meant that I have been able to hit the ground running at home and raise some of the specific concerns about a lack of NHS dental provision and access to GPs across the constituency. But I have also been able to meet with campaigners and lend my support to important issues within the constituency, such as Chippenham's One Plan, Bassett's proposed active travel network, and the campaign for a new health centre in Calne. By backing these projects, I intend to ensure that there are careers for our young people in my area and options for those hoping to change career in later life. And like many other people here, my own career has taken a dramatic change of tack recently. I hope members will not mind if I briefly explain how I am here today. I was lucky enough to be born into a family that cared deeply about my education. With their support and a grant from Wiltshire Council, I was able to study architecture at Kingston and at University College London before registering as an architect in Spain. Some years later, I returned home to Wiltshire and became a town and unitary councillor. And it's from this perspective of positive experience in local government that I felt I could do more to promote the interests of my community here in Westminster. And I am honoured that they thought so too. I would like to end my maiden speech firstly by wishing my brother Luke a very happy birthday. And by thanking my mother, who has been a great source of strength to me. She canvassed on my behalf tirelessly throughout the election campaign, even in the pouring rain of what we now all know to be a rather damp constituency. But finally, I'd like to give my thanks to my constituents. Whether they voted for me or not, I promise to work hard and champion them all in everything I do. Thank you.